Then, yep. Okay. Then, oh, what happened to the camera? Okay, I think they are doing something there. Okay, it's okay. Then we have, who else is the next person we have there? Okay, so welcome everyone, especially those on, check the speaker please, and I will have it loud enough, the camera, the computer. Okay, good. Okay, thank you so much everybody. We have, okay, Fidelia coming to join. Then, okay, we're going to go on YouTube, on Facebook now, and so that we'll be able to, can you close that one? Yeah. So let's go on Facebook to welcome our Facebook audience. Just close it. Yeah. You need the Skype? Why do you need it? No. Just don't worry about this. Yeah, no, the opposite. Yeah. Sorry, guys. So, who else have not acknowledged from there? Okay, but what's happening to Facebook, YouTube? Are we on YouTube, Facebook? Are we on Facebook already? We're on Facebook? Okay, thank you. If we're on Facebook, then I might need the computer to welcome people. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just here on YouTube, so I'm not seeing what is happening on Facebook. Let me go and check what's happening on Facebook. Okay, I think we're on there. Let me welcome them. I'm just here on YouTube, so I'm not. Okay, Facebook audience, welcome guys. Who are the people I should greet here? Let me greet, okay, a few people on Facebook. We have Kennedy Festus is here. Emmanuel Gabriel, Vivian Taylor, Sheila Berry, Adeola is here, Lisa Eckenhurst, Laola is here, Adeyemo is here. Yep, welcome everyone. Nice to see you. We're going to have a panel today. It's an interesting panel. It's going to be a panel of Africanists. So I want to call upon everybody that is watching us both on YouTube and Facebook. Please go ahead and share the message. Let's go share the link. Please go share the link on Facebook, on YouTube. Let's go press the share button and invite people, especially the people of African descent. It doesn't matter where they are, from the Caribbean, from Africa. Let's just go invite people from Africa. This is going to be a panel of Pan-Africanists discussing Africa's freedom and development. Discussing Africa's freedom and development. So please go ahead and call on your people, call upon everybody, invite as many people as you can. We have 3 people here with us who are going to be participating with us today. One is Ayo Ogundimu and Dos Bar and Sherzal Leng. So we have those 3 people being the panel that we are going to be discussing and talking with today. Yeah, so we're going to be having Ayo. I guess Ayo is going to be the main speaker or the main coordinator here. So he will introduce to us the other people that are with him. And we're going to focus our discussion today first on Libya. And then from there, we'll move on to the concepts of Africa development and freedom and African freedom in general. So I want to welcome you, gentlemen and and lady who is there. So we have Ayo. Ayo, will you introduce the team to us, please? Yes.
To my left, I have sherzal.
Sherzal, yes.
And Dos.
Can somebody, okay, we see her now. All right, and Dos.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Can we see Dos more closer? The camera, yeah. Bring those closer. Okay. Now we are hearing you, Ayo. So now we want to say, will you tell us, because this issue about Libya, which has really been a challenge to a lot of our people, all Africans all over the world, and some people have said you people have played a very active. Somebody put off. No. They need to put off. Don't put on the YouTube over there or Facebook. It's sending echo to us. So I guess you need to turn off your device over there or the sound. That could be Kunle, please. I hope.
Yeah, it's all turned off.
Something is resounding. It shouldn't be. Okay, don't worry about that. Can you
it's all right. There's nothing. We've turned everything off right down here.
Okay, let's see now how it goes. Yeah, I think it's okay now. Yeah, we are fine. So, so we're here to discuss the plight of our people in Libya. And I just want to, I'm sure maybe you are familiar with this already, but I want to just let you know that what we have decided to do from our side here is called $1 Libya Challenge. This challenge is it's not really, anybody can give more than $1, but at least $1 is something that everybody can afford. So we are using GoFundMe, GoFundMe.com/Libya1Challenge, Libya1Challenge to challenge, but really it's more about the publicity, because somebody said, oh, but you can just give the money. Yes, if I give the money, one person gives the money. But what about if everybody is aware of it by doing the challenge? The idea of the challenge is more than the money. The idea of the challenge is 5 people or one person challenging 5 person, one person challenging another person challenging another, getting people's heart awakened and getting people involved in the issue. That's what really matters. When we could get people, it's not just about the money, but it's the involvement, the awareness is even more important than the money. So anybody that is watching me right now, I want to appeal to you, please go and challenge a few people, 4, 5, 10, 100 people to join this movement, to join the Libya One Challenge, which is they should go to GoFundMe.com and put in their $1 and then challenge another 5 people to go to GoFundMe.com/Libya1Challenge, Libya1Challenge, and then they need to put it on the social media. Just make sure you put these things on social media, on the internet, and challenge people by name. You have to challenge them by name. If you call them out by name, then they will probably most likely participate in it than if you don't mention their names. So mention their names and tell them to go and challenge another 5 people. It's all about making this thing go viral and making it go like a marathon of people being aware of what's going on in Africa. And when we want to gather $1 million, if we gather $1 million, I personally want to double that. I will put another 1 million on top of it from myself. But then we are going to also call upon teams of people who are already involved in this kind of topic. So people like Ayo and the team and Dos and Kofi and other people that might be interested in helping us form a committee of what to do with the money, how to arrange the money, how to distribute the money, what percentage of it should go to Nigeria, what percentage of it should go to other countries where people are, coming from with this problem, and then what percentage should be used to, maybe liberate people from Libya, and what percentage of it should be used to send to resettle people back at home, or to maybe encourage those people who are back at home with some job opportunities so that they will not need to run away. But at the end of the day, most people will agree to the fact that it's all about changing the value system and the mindset of our people so that our people will not even need to run away from the continent anymore. But we have to start with Ayo. Ayo, will you tell us a bit about you before you introduce to tell us for your team to tell us who they are and what they do? Ayo, here you are.
Hello everyone. My name is Ayo. I'm just an African that's basically been. I like to say I was completely unaware of the world around me for much of my existence, and it took a few things to happen for me to suddenly realize, whoa, what's happening? And basically, the combination of this was for me this issue of seeing 26 girls, hearing of them dying in the sea in Mediterranean, and then they said something about Nigerians, and I started looking into this case, and I thought, whoa, what's this? And then came out that we had the issue of Africans being enslaved in Libya. So I was looking at all of this, and I'm thinking, whoa, what's happening? What is this?
I know if before you go into the Libya question, before you go to the Libya question, could I ask you a very personal issue, a very personal question here that you might not want to answer? You are free not to answer this question. You don't need to answer it.
Okay.
But the question is, what are those things that happened that made you to become aware of who you are and to begin to live in the consciousness?
I guess, I mean, in a way, I mean, it's nothing to hide. I had a car accident almost 11 years ago.
Can your cameraman make you go to the right from you a little bit? Yeah, that way. Good. And then cover the space on your head. Yeah, that's good. Good. Yes, sir.
A car accident about 11 years ago. And up until then, everything was fine, normal job and doing everything else and accepting how life is. And in the middle of that accident, and trying to recover from all that, I had to have an operation. And it took them 5 years to find the operation, to find where the problem was. And it affected my weight. I gained a lot of weight. I was really not a father to my kids because I was just not there. I was dropped off to my island. So I wasn't really awake. But luckily, after a few years, they did. I had an operation done in 2010, and it seemed to have solved the problem. I had to have a fusion done on my back. So I've got metal plates in my back, and I've got permanent nerve damage in my right leg.
Oh. So
I walk around with a walking stick. I've got that for life. It took me a long time to actually adjust to the idea of being a disabled person. I was fighting. I was thinking I'm going to get better. I was really fighting. And all of this was happening.
Wow.
And then suddenly, I don't know, when I suddenly started I started reducing my drug intake. Because at one point, I actually got addicted to morphine. I was taking the drug and I was just down in it, just to try and numb the pain. And the doctor, I had a really good doctor, and he was.
And this was happening in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK, yes, right here in the UK. So anyway, and I went to him and I said I wanted more, and he said, "Mr. Bloom, I don't think so. You need to start cutting back. You're hooked. You're hooked." And I was like, "What?" And so he worked out a program for me whereby I had to come off it very, very slowly, and it took me all of about 2 years to come off just that drug alone. And then there are other ones as well. So the process of coming off all of this drug,
yes.
I started looking at things, and things didn't make sense to me. I'd hear information about myself as an African, and I was questioning. I noticed one thing I was doing was just questioning what was around me and the world around me. How is it that it's portraying myself as an African in this way? And what is it? At one point, I actually believed this thing about Africans being crossed. So I had a friend, and he said to me, "You should try and read a book by a guy called Cheikh Anta Diop." Senegalese.
Yeah, Diop.
So I thought, okay, fine. I bought the book. I bought it and I read it. And it was like, boom. It was like, what's happening here? Then
if you like Diop's book, yes, then there is one book that's going to do you a better. You've got to get my book. I just released the book yesterday. I just released this book yesterday. No one has read it yet. No one.
Okay.
You know what it's called?
What is it called?
How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe.
Perfect. I'll get that.
It's on Amazon. How Africans Brought Civilization to Europe.
Fantastic.
I don't even have it yet. I just released it on Amazon. I don't even have it yet.
I mean, anyway, what that led me to, then I bought more books. I bought, I think, about 30, maybe more books.
Now, I'm not going to go into your story so much today, but what I want to touch on, you've touched on something which is very key, but not just to Africans, but to every human being. Yes. What you are talking about really is consciousness. You came into consciousness. Yes. Thanks to your sorrow, thanks to your challenges, thanks to your problem. Now, when you look back at the tragedy that you had, it is only thanks to that tragedy that you are where you are today.
That's correct.
And I'm going to show you something. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, what is written here.
I'm not sure I will.
You can't. You can't read it. You can't read it, right? Okay, let me read it for you. It's written, problems, your shortcut to prominence.
Okay.
You are prominent, my dear, right now. You are a prominent man.
I'm just me.
Well, you might not want to address, you might not want to use that word in relations to you, but you are fulfilling purpose right now. And that's totally different from when you are living for yourself. Yeah. And the thing that has made you and brought you and those and sherzal to all that place of prominence is problem. You stopped. You see, one of the greatest problems of our African brethren is that we're looking for a comfortable life in Europe. And when we have comfort, we lose consciousness.
Yes.
So that is why I'm saying, what is it that happened in your life? And I'm so happy and glad that you will be so kind to share with us your own personal story, because I saw that in my own way. I moved over here to the former Soviet Union, to Russia at 19, to communism. It's a whole long story. So that's when my own consciousness came on, and I became aware of life and of myself. So because I know and I've seen all over the world that even white people, the Europeans that I'm living around, people don't know anything about consciousness, how to live in the here and now. You know what I did? I wrote a book about it. And it's called How to Be in the Here and Now. How to stop daydreaming about life and throughout life and start living. And that's what I caught from what you are saying, Ayo. You started to live. You stopped just roaming in the air, just living in illusions and in mirage. And your life became defined and concretized. And you see, I will show you another thing here. You see what this is called? Who am I? Why am I here? Who am I and why am I here is the name of this book here. Who am I and why am I here? This is a question that somebody that has come to consciousness comes to. That's what you say. I'm an African. Oh, no, there's a problem there again. Somebody put on something. It's okay now. It's okay now. So consciousness is when you begin to ask the question, who am I and why am I here? And that's the question you asked. And that's the question that led you to who you are right now. So, yeah. You know, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Now, I can't hear you again.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be on your show.
Yeah. So, is there any? I'm sure all the people are, with you. They also have their journey. Who wants to tell of his own journey right now?
So I'm sherzal, and I'm from an organisation here. I'm founder of an organisation called Slavery Remembrance. And we hold a national memorial in Trafalgar Square each year to honour our ancestors and the victims of the transatlantic slave trade. The first time we held that memorial was in 2016, and it actually made history because no such memorial had ever been held for our ancestors in Trafalgar Square before, and it's now become an annual event. And we have a sister organisation called My Tribe, which is how we were connected for this whole Libya issue. We were the first to call a protest on the 26th of November outside the Libyan embassy, and through the call of that protest, we've met our partners on the Free My Tribe movement.
Sherzal, now what brought you to awareness? What brought you to consciousness? Because you look almost Europeanized. You're light in color, in complexion. You speak with British accent. And why should you bother about this past slave past of our ancestors?
Why should I bother? Because they're my ancestors. So
yeah, what brought you to dealing with that? You know, addressing the issue.
I've always been sort of consciously active. I was born into a politically active family, so I've always been consciously active in various different formats. Issues, I've done community work for many, many years, and there's just lots of things that I see happening and not happening, and things that can be done but aren't being done properly, and feeling frustrated, having children and not wishing to hand this world to them, being too, black males in this world is not an easy task. So, sort of, yeah, it's something I've always done, and it's my heritage, so I'm kind of proud to it.
But you said it's your heritage, and that's because you have the black blood in you, and because that's your heritage and that's where you're coming from. But do you know how many millions of people, or thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people in Africa and in Europe that don't even care?
Yes, I do. Because it's a hard battle to get people engaged in these things. So absolutely, when if you do any sort of community work and you sort of do it with a passion, you find out very fast how switched off many of our people are, and how difficult it is to get them to be engaged, and how much work we have to do as an individual just to even get to any sort of result. So yes, maybe it could be down to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There'll be various different reasons as to why people aren't switched on. Some are sort of aware of what's going on, and it feels like too much. For one person to handle, and they've got all of this other stuff going on in their lives anyway. They've got children to feed, they've got work, they've got a house to pay for, and they feel like they can't do this. There's nothing they can do about it, so they just rather not know because they've got enough of their own stress. There's people who simply are not aware of their own history, let alone the issues that we face. If you believe it or not, there are people, black people, certainly in England and possibly outside of England, that don't believe, or young youth that don't believe racism exists or is an issue anymore. So that's down to education. So there are lots of reasons as to why people aren't switched on. People haven't, sometimes something needs to happen in your life for it to hit you, like you're sort of walking with a veil across, which is what happened to Aya. So there are various different reasons as to why many of us aren't switched on. I think a lot of it to do with feeling
I'm sorry, can the cameraman be closer to you than to Ayo? Just let her be in the center of the camera, please. Yeah, so, that's good.
Yeah, I think there are many different reasons as to why people aren't sort of engaged, and it's a lot to do with feeling as though they can't do much about it. They feel helpless, and just to take on what seems, and essentially what are the problems of the world, but for one person just seems like too much, especially when everyone has so much going on in their own lives anyway, personally. So to juggle that feels like a bit much for a lot of people, which is something I understand.
Yeah, and being a woman, I would tell you that right now. I know a lot of ladies, women, wives in the UK, and they kind of think that their not just main preoccupation should be family and kids, but it's almost like the only preoccupation should be family and kids, maybe church. That's all. But talking about community awareness and civil movement, do you have kids? Why don't you think like those ladies? That's my life occupation, my children.
But it is my life occupation. That's exactly why I do what I do. So my children will be considered to be two young black boys, and in this world, that's not an easy thing. And every move I make is thinking of my children. I'm not going to be here forever. So essentially, what I say is, I'm not going to be here forever. So my duty is to fight and win as many battles as possible whilst I'm on this earth, so that they don't have to. I can't. Buying a house or making sure I've got millions in the bank. For me, that's not security for my children, because that can go at any time. Money can go at any time. You can lose that at any time. There's people that are living on the streets that used to go to school with Prince Charles. Yeah, exactly. So that you can lose money at any time. So for me, real security
is the cameraman really there? It's cutting off your shoulder. That cameraman doesn't like your two shoulders at the same time. Just showing one shoulder of yours. Can you go to the left, please? Closer to those. Yeah, that way. Good. Yes. Yeah, closer and call that. Yeah. We hear you now. Now, I have one more question to you, please. Let me tell you something, Chanel or Sherzal. Sherzal, let me ask you one more question. This is going to be a question for you and for Ayo and Does as well. And the question is that most black people that I know in the UK, they kind of have this kind of attitude that, you know what, this is UK. Black people would never really have the recognition, the respect. We will never really get there. It's not like America. America is ahead of us, and we will never really get there because we are not quite as many, and we are never really going to get the respect that we deserve in the UK. This is what I keep on hearing. I've heard it from the Jamaicans. I've heard it from the Nigerians. I've heard it from the French people there. I've heard it from all, just across the line, all black people in the UK kind of think that they see themselves as minority that will never really be the mainstream of the society. Why do you think that your efforts could make a difference?
That's essentially how the Free My Tribe movement and My Tribe has been set up. We are fragmented in the UK, but we can certainly change that. But it's only by coming together as a unit, as a family. So this is our family here, and this situation in Libya has brought 10 organisations together who haven't worked together before as a family, who work in, and these are black organisations who work in different areas from different parts of the diaspora, but have come together as a family unit to say we're going to come together and fight this. And it's a growing family. It's an open invitation to any black organisation wherever they reside in the world who wants to come together as a family unit, because I think we're all of the opinion that how black people are treated globally is what's the best word for it?
Despicable.
It impacts all of us. Basically, I'm keyed in 100% to what Sherzal has just said just now. How we are treated. If you treat one black person in a terrible manner, in a derogatory manner, you are actually treating all of us like that. That is how we need to view this. And for too long, the reason, I tell you this is my own impression of things. The reason why many Africans in UK and Jamaican or West Indies people, why we all just accept the status quo. Well, that's how it is. We never really do that. It's because the information that we're receiving about ourselves is that much more polluted with falsehood. So the minute you accept that information about yourself, your inclination is not to challenge it, but you think, well, that's how I am. So for that reason, we almost fall into that stereotype. We behave as the stereotype is predicting you to behave. And that is what we in this group as My Tribe and the collection of the organization, we are hoping that we can change. Not overnight. It's a gradual process. The very, very first important thing was the protest that we did. And the fact that people came, fantastic. But the next step for us to deal with that now is how to get African people all over the world to start buying African, period. You got to buy African, then you got to get the knowledge. Those two. Once we have the knowledge, and we acquire the knowledge, and we have to share this knowledge right around the world. There are billions of Africans. Right now, we need to share that knowledge. Once we have the knowledge and buying Africa in our mind, unity becomes possible.
Now, Ayo, you have a greater problem there, because I can understand Sherzal. Sherzal, she has a West Indian background, and so we could say, I'm sorry to say this, Sherzal, most people say for people like you that for people of West Indies background that they don't have anywhere to go. I hear this from British people, from black people in Britain, that the Jamaicans, the West Indies, they don't know have anywhere to go. But that this is where the question comes to you, Ayo. We are Africans. If anything gets bad here, we have a home. We can go back to Nigeria. So most people don't really see, they don't have an impact and having significance in the UK as a goal. We just want to be successful here, and if anything gets bad, we just go back home.
Well, see, for me, from what I'm reading right now and from the knowledge I'm gaining every single day, it's becoming apparent to me that the illusion that we are living in, it lulls you into that false sense of security, which sherzal mentioned earlier on, which was that, oh, I've got the money, I've got the house, I've got everything. But these things, in reality, we can lose it like that. We can lose it just like that. Just as quickly as we get it, we can quickly lose it. But if we understand, if we have the knowledge of who we are, we know that, for example, just one example, the Kingdom of Benin has the longest wall in the whole wide world. It was in the World Book of Records, 1972. Go and check it. Not many Africans will know that. It is longer than the wall of China. When you know that information, then you know that the ground you're standing on as an African, you are standing in power. You are standing in power. Make no doubt about that. And once you know that about yourself, there's no amount of money that can equate that power. There's no amount of money. But that knowledge is so key. And we need to teach our kids from the time they are born. From the time our kids are born. Because this money thing is an illusion. And we, as Africans, we need to really understand that. I'm going to quickly just go into, I'll just quickly say something. 1884, there's a document about the Berlin Conference. In there, it says want in paper. Go right across Africa right now. What we are doing is want in paper. Everybody wants money. And that's what the plan was. The plan was feed them, let them have money, give them religion. Never get them look at the resources around them. Never. So we need to be very, very conscious of what we are asking for here. Anybody that's going into this and thinking it's about the money, no. The resources in Africa is worth more than all the money you can put together in the whole world. I'm going to say that again. The resources in Africa is worth more than all the money you can put together in the whole wide world. 10 times over. They know that. Those who are putting the system in place know that. And we have to be cognizant of that fact and spread that to our youth as soon as they are born. Because the fact of the matter is that it is enough now to see Africans dying daily in Libya. It's dying in the Mediterranean, enslaved. And then they're trying to get a way to try and get a better life. And they get enslaved. When we have the resources underneath our feet, I'll give you a simple example. The currency that we have in Africa, every single currency, go anywhere in the world, it's worthless. It is worthless. You can carry everything you want. It is worthless currency. And until we understand that, there is no link right now. There is no link between the currency we hold in Africa and the resources that we have. None. Zero. Somebody will dictate to you how much you will sell your resources. They will dictate the rate at which your currency will be worth. And yet your currency, the minute you leave the continent of Africa, is worthless. It's worthless. So we need to wake up. If we are talking, if we are just sitting down and we're thinking, I'm having a party and everything. Yes, of course I like to have a party. I'm a singer. I can sing. I love singing. That's me. And I've been doing that since I was young. That's another part of myself. But I'm doing side issue. But the fact of the matter is that if we do not, what I'm doing now is not for me. It's for my kids and the generation to come. Because I never thought I would see in 2017 that an African would be re-enslaved. I never thought I would see that. And that shocked me to my core. I've been reading it. I'm reading a book by Dr. David Olusoga. And actually, I'm lucky enough to meet him. He signed the book for me. I can't forget what it's called. But I have it at home. I'm reading it. And the very same thing he's talking about, slavery, where people are actually having to actually fight for their rights. In not only in Africa, in UK, across Europe, in Brazil, in North America. The same thing that they were fighting for in the 17th century, we are back there now. We are right back there now. So, to all my Nigerian and African friends, if you're dancing, dance. Just be sure you're not dancing in your own grave.
Will you introduce those to me? Dos, is it Dos, right? Tell us about yourself, Dos.
Okay. My name is Dos. I'm from an organization called La Fraternité Guinéenne. It's in French, which is Guinean fraternity in English. So we are a charitable organization. We've been there for over 10 years now. So yes.
But the fraternity of Guinea, that means it's just a community of Guineans living in the UK. Or
yeah, and in Guinea as well.
Tell me about yourself. What got you into this tribe, this African tribe, this whole movement thing?
Well, as Ayo and sherzal said, we're in this for many years. So I've always been an activist, a humanitarian. So what has been around me has upset me since young age.
Did you also read the book of Diop?
Pardon?
Did you also read the book of Sheikh Diop?
And the job, yes. Most of the French youth have read that, So because
the English people, the English-speaking countries in Africa are not familiar with that book.
No, that's what I just said. The French side in West Africa, pretty much 70 or 90%, they know about the book.
Wow.
So it's a wake-up call. That book was one of the wake-up call, really, for most of us. So yes, indeed, the atrocities, our ancestors went through from 500 years ago, and seeing that happening today again, it's unbearable. It's upsetting. It's kind of like waking up a dead body.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, my organization and I could not just sit down, say this not to react. We will feel guilty. So I'm really proud to have these warriors next to me here, and especially sherzal. She's sorry, Ayo. Absolutely. Being a woman, it takes and being engaged. Honestly, the only what went deep down to me. It actually encouraged me more, right, to be in this battle. So yes, what happened to our brothers and sisters in Libya is unacceptable. It's against the human rights. So yes, my organization actually were the first African community in the UK, I would say, because we haven't seen anywhere else it happens, who decided to organize a demonstration. Yeah. So yes, so when we decided to do it, and this is when we get in touch with Slavery Remembrance, and I get in touch with sherzal, and of course then Ayo and many others.
Are you people working together with Kofi?
We are working together. Yeah, today we are working under one umbrella called my Free My Tribe. So because we decided it's really not worth having different unity, everywhere. We should, have one. We should exactly. It's a family affair. We should have.
So this common organization is going to be called Free My Tribe.
So what was the question?
What was the question, sir?
What is this new common organization going to be called? Free My Tribe?
Free My Tribe is the movement under which all the sort of umbrellas are, all the different organisations are working under. So yeah,
wow.
It's common.
That is,
it's an umbrella.
I think what in all of this, one of the things we were at a meeting yesterday, somebody said something to me, which was quite poignant, and it's something of a reminder. And what she said was, look, at the end of the day, this protest and all of this organization that we're trying to put together now, is for one thing and one thing alone, and that is to ensure that our brothers and sisters and our kids that are enslaved in Libya right now are free. So our focus I'm sure there are other organizations as well who are probably will align, who are doing similar things to what we're doing. It's not it's not a thing that is limited by what we're doing. There'll be other organizations as well. But what we're doing is we are trying to bring awareness to it, and we welcome other people to join us, or we can join other groups as well. Because our focus is to make sure that we never, in our lifetimes, ever see any African slave ever again.
What about trying to work with the African Union and African governments to do this?
Very good question. I actually got a petition going that I raised, and I sent it to the head of African Union, and actually it was on the something.org, change.org. I think I sent the link to you guys, and it actually got it was a successful petition. Now I put that across to them. Unfortunately, we haven't heard from them. The African Union, let's be honest with ourselves, they are not protecting the rights and the life of Africans. They are not.
Who is the president now? Is it Kagame?
Sorry?
Who is the president of the African Union now? Is it
the president?
Alpha Conde? Yeah, Alpha Conde.
Yeah, it's actually my country president. His name is Professor Alpha Conde.
Yeah. So why can't you just get in touch with him? It should be easier for you to get in touch with him since he's your president.
Yes, well, you know how it is with African leaders. Yeah. So we will try to reach out. Obviously, he's aware of the situation in Libya. He knows. On the 5th of December this month, they actually met in Ivory Coast with some European Union members where they decide about the issue, in Libya. But from my point of view, I'm not sure what they have discussed that day, but to me, it's slow. We're not seeing basically the progress, right? We want to see them to act right now, right away. The reason being is our sisters and brothers are still suffering. Where they are still being tortured, raped, and you name it. And what hurt me more is our sisters, who are sold, are actually in the private prisons and used for prostitution, right? This is hurting, right? And plus, we have, they're killing our people just to sell their organs. It's a business that is happening. It's a business. So we make sure we put this awareness. People should know what is happening. This is not just having people in the concentration camps. They're using them otherwise. We need to make sure we stop this, and the African Union must act, and now. If this was an English or American citizen, just one citizen, right? It would have been all over the news, right? And they have actually acted a long time ago. But imagine what is happening to us, and our own African leaders are not taking action and immediate action. It's hurting. So hence why we're here, and we thank you honestly for having us, so we can basically get the message across, get the message across to other people. As my brother Ayu said earlier, the textbooks they taught us are wrong. We never been taught the real of us, right? So we want to make sure we change the course of these atrocities, these lies we've been taught, right? And we will do that through the social media as we do it now. We appreciate one more time you inviting us, and we're looking forward for more invitations. To be honest, because you have 1,000 views, so honestly, and across the globe, and we would like to have this type of channels really to reach out and send the message across. So thank you. I guess I want to say something.
Just on Libya, one of the most pernicious and horrifying thing about Libya for me is the silent thing that's happening. Organ harvesting is going on in Libya. That means that they actually kill an African, take out the organs from the African, and sell it for thousands of pounds, which means As an African, you are worth dead. You are worth more dead than alive. And not more dead than alive. We need to be really aware of that. Apparently, there are many more Africans that are dying in the Mediterranean Sea than we have been told. There are many more. There's a plethora of evidence all over YouTube, all over, and just go and type it in. It's there. So we need to be, this is not something, we have an African, every single African on this planet, we have got to wake up. It is that simple. This is not about fighting knowledge. We acquire the knowledge of who we are. We start buying black, and those two things will give us unity. Buy black, knowledge, you get unity. We haven't got time. We haven't got time for any more of this.
Okay, buy black. You've mentioned buy black many times now. Buying black. Where? How? Where? How?
Well, it doesn't matter. Anybody, whatever you are on this planet, if you know of an African that's got a business, spend the money. It might cost you a little bit more. Spend the money with him. Spend that money with him. However little, spend it. If you have a budget on a weekly basis and you spend £50 on goods and everything else, put 10 to 15 pounds on it. Focus on looking for African stores that you can buy stuff from. African shoes, clothes. Because if we don't do that, then our people will be coming here every time to try and look for a better life. But if we buy from their business, they don't have to come here. This is without doubt, that is our number one priority right now. As an African on this planet, we need to focus on buying from black people. Because it's not about just giving money. But if we buy from black people, we are investing in them. Currently, what we're doing is we get all the money and we're taking the money away from them. We're taking that money away. That's what I mean. That's correct. Exactly. Well said.
We didn't hear what sherzal. We didn't hear what sherzal said. Can we hear what she was saying again, sherzal?
I said investing in them is investing in us. Them is us. So investing in them is investing in yourself. It's investing in your children, and it's investing in their future, our future.
Okay.
So what I just want to add from what both sherzal and Ayo said is basically there's a system that was imposed on us, right? 100 years ago. It's to make sure we are not economically strong, right? So they want to make sure we are poor so they can use our resources and at the same time give us donations, to be happy with their donations. Yeah. So what we need here is a unity, right? Is a unity. Why it's hard for me to understand, right? How people have been applauding the Ghanaian president Nana. He had a great speech. I respect it. I appreciate it. But to me, from after 60 years of independence, this is not something we should be applauding. Right? What he said has been said by other Pan-Africanists, the like of Kwame Nkrumah, the like of Sekou Touré from my own country, the like of Lumumba, the like of Sankara. This has been said by them. So what went wrong from then up to now, we're still in the same struggle. So these are type of questions our leaders, the African Union should ask themselves. If you see these young Africans are leaving Africa to come to Europe, it's because they have no hope. They have no future. So then what needs to be done here is the African leaders to stick together and say to the West, you have been used us for many years. So we think it's time to stick and tell them enough is enough.
Well, right? Don't you think? And, yes, go ahead.
Find a solution, in terms of economy. Right? As I keep saying, my brother just said it, until we are financially, economically strong, we will always be weak. Right? So we've seen the Indians shopping Indians, Chinese shopping in the Chinese shops. So we, as a black African or black in general, it looks like you know, going to shop in your own brothers and sisters, you know, a business, you will hurt doing it. But it's wrong, right? If we shop in our brothers and sisters' businesses and we helping them to have it grow. So once the business grow, obviously they will have a chance to hire one of us to help them, right? And the economy will be, you know, will be flowing. This is what we need. Until we are economically strong, we will not be able to do anything.
Beautiful. Okay, sherzal, yeah.
As a unit.
I said, and that power is not in the African leaders' hands. I think we need to understand that the power is in our hands. It's for us to go and buy and support our own. We can continue to look at the African leaders. We can continue to look at European leaders and say, you should be doing this, you should be doing this. But we all know they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So people looking to them to change things when there's way more of us than there are of them. And all we need to do is change our mindset and educate ourselves and educate our children and come together. The power is in our hands. I'm not interested in the African leaders, and I'm not interested in the European leaders because they've been doing the same things over and over again. And to be honest with you, we've got to start looking at the African leaders and what power they really do and don't have. It gets very deep. You look at colonial tax, the French colonial tax, the IMF, the World Bank, and honestly, it's a much bigger and deeper issue to be able to change all of those things. So the IPO, for us, what's much easier, much more achievable is us on the ground, us as a community. There's way more of us, and if we start focusing on ourselves and spending within our own community and celebrating as one, not as Nigerians, as Ghanaians, or as Jamaicans, or as African Latino, or whatever. We are one. We are one. We are all together. We unite. There's no stopping us. If we unite, we are one. That's why we're family. We are one family. This matter which part you come from. That's why you said, where do you come from? I said, I'm African by Jamaica. Because that's it doesn't matter what Africa got spread to. The whole land is Africa. We all know that. It's about time that we stop having these, you're French Caribbean, you're Jamaican Caribbean, or you're from Ghana, you're from Nigeria, or you're from the Caribbean, therefore you're African, all of that stuff. You're from Latin America, where Brazil has the largest African population outside Nigeria, outside of Africa, except for Nigeria. So these things, it stop all that bickering. So that's the reason things are happening now, that's fine to say so. So the reason things are happening in Libya, is because they know that there's no backing. You can break down to the simple family context. If your family doesn't have your back, people will take the misguided. They will do what they want, which is what we're seeing happening because they know the family's not got the back properly. So we need to step up as a family and one and say, we're not doing this to our family, we're not doing this to our people, we will not allow you to do this again. We will not allow you to do this again, but we have to say that as one voice. We have to say that united. Right now, we're seen as a disposable commodity. Yeah. We're seen higher talk about organ harvesting. What you need to understand is, even babies. Yeah. There was a 3-month-old baby. Last year, there were 9 Africans dumped in the Egyptian Sea who had their organs cut open and had their organs removed from them. That included a mother, her 3-month-old baby, and her 18-month-old baby. That's how much they don't care about us. That was last year. You can see it all over the news. You can report it everywhere. You see an outcry. If you go on the internet now, you can still find the photos of the babies, the 2 babies and the mother, with your toxic cards down the middle. With your these are babies. More than 3,000 people every year die. More than 3,000 people, Africans, black Africans, die every year trying to get to Europe or through the Mediterranean Sea. Okay? We need to get together. No one else has the power other than us. It's us. Everyone who's watching this video, everyone who's watching this, every black person, it's in your hands, but we have to come together.
Yeah. Beautiful. Now, but can I say something? Can I?
Unity is key. It has always been. Unity is key. We've seen Brother Ray, you know, and I have to mention this again. Indians are stick together, the Chinese are stick together, the Jews are stick together. So why not us? And we're seeing, you know, if we stick together, if we stay as a family, things can change. We can help out things, right? We want our children to have a place called home, which is Africa. Most of us are here we're not here because we want to be here. It's because we don't have a. This is hence why most of these guys are leaving from over here, right? If we have the means for them back home, they wouldn't have the idea to live for the West, right? I personally want to go back to contribute, do something, and I will do, definitely. So yes, unity is the key. Honestly, until we are united, it will be hard. And Pastor, I wanted you to basically get that message across. So you are an important person for the community. Your platform is amazing. So please, unity is key. We should be one.
Okay. Okay. Now, can I interject something in here? I hope you can hear me. What we need to do, I think you people have mentioned two things that are important: unity and buy Africa. Beautiful, beautiful concept. Unity and buy Africa. Now, what I want to say is that if we don't change, any human being is a subtotal of what he has in his mind, their mind. I think that we need to start an empowerment of the mind movement, or we need to put an education. We need to educate and enlighten the mind of our people. Now, for example, I am doing something in regards to that. And let me show you, I will just show you a few of the titles of the books that I've written that I believe could go a long way for Africans. Look, this is called Raising the Next Generation of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. The next generation of Steve Jobs, the Steve Jobs of this world, the Mark Zuckerberg of this world, why can't they be Africans? So I wrote this book to say we should be focusing to say, no, we are not going to just be purchasing the things that Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg produce. We want to raise up the next generation. How do you do it? So those are the steps I've laid out here. How to raise up the next generation of Steve Jobs from our people, from Africans. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, the next generation has to be from us. Next one here. No one is better than you is another book I wrote. No one is better than you. I think if we don't change the mind of our people, if we don't educate them, enlighten them, no one is better than you. No one. No one. And that's why I wrote this book. This is a book of 300 pages of letting our people know that no one is better than you. Then I said, stop celebrating heroes. This is another book I wrote. It's called Let Heroes Arise. Don't celebrate other people. Don't just keep on celebrating is it Dennis Beckham? What do you call him? Beckham.
Yeah, Beckham. Yes.
David Beckham? Why should you be celebrating a David Beckham or Victoria Beckham? Let heroes arise. We can create our own heroes. Every one of our people can become a hero. And that's what I wrote this book about. Let heroes arise from our own people. We should put it in our minds of our people, our children, our young people, that you are not worse than anybody. You can just be as good as any one of them. And for my country, Nigeria, because I see what the government is trying to do, they don't have the clue. I have been able to affect a whole country. Here in this country, 99% of people who follow me, up to 100,000 people, 99% of them are white people. Only 1% black people I have. I've been able to affect the world. I've spoken in the United Nations twice. I've spoken in the Japanese parliament. I've spoken in the United States Senate. So I know what it takes. So I wrote a book for my people, for my country. How to make Nigeria the greatest country in the world. How to make Nigeria the greatest. My people don't even dream of being the greatest country in the world. They just want to survive. And that's why I wrote this book. And this is not just for Nigeria. This could apply for the whole of Africa. We could make the Africa the most desirable continent. And I have these points and the steps and the program on how to make this happen. I wrote another one, how the Nigerian economy can overtake the American economy. People are laughing. You laughing? You read the book. You stop laughing. You begin to act. You begin to believe it. And so those are the kind of things that I'm doing, that if we don't change the mind of our people, and I just don't want our people to think that we should only be the best among Africans. I have proved it. I was in the university where we had 16,000 people from England, from America, from China, and I was the best out of 16,000 from 99 countries. We could lead the world. And that's why I wrote this book, Monoculturalism. Don't just focus to be the best in Africa. Don't just focus to be the best among blacks. Don't just focus to be the best among Congolese or among Togolese. Let us go beyond that. Let us be the best in the world. Let us try and strive to be the best. And I've proven it by all our churches in Germany. They are all German white people following a black man. All our churches in America, they are all white Americans following the black man. All our churches in Holland, in Scandinavia, everything, all of them following me. I'm the founder, I'm the president. And they know this, but because of the information in the head. This is because they follow quality. When you have something that nobody else can offer, when you have something that nobody else has, everybody will bow. And that's what I want to communicate to the black people. That the reason why we are running to where? To Libya and to the West is because we are, first of all, empty in the head. Not because we are empty or poor economically, but the poverty of the mind is what we need to address. If we could fix the mind, we could fix everything else. And that's why I wrote that book. Let us remember how Africans brought civilization to Europe.
Yes.
We brought civilization to Europe. We brought civilization to China. We brought civilization to America. I have a whole book. It just came out yesterday on Amazon, how Africans brought civilization to Europe. And if Africans will read that, just like the Oak did, we can go for it and we can make sure our people are no more slaves, that what we can lead the world like we are meant to do in the last days.
Yes. Yes. So that's correct, Pastor. And I agree with everything that you just said there. And we have to, I was telling those days the other day, and I said, what we need in Africa are 1.2 or 1.3 billion heroes in Africa. We can all be heroes. You said that in your commentary just now. And that is something I am holding on to. And I want Africans to actually believe that every step they take, they step in power. You step. When you take one step, you step in power. And you say, you own it. You actually take that on and you say, yes, I own it. Because my ancestors did this before me, and I shall do that going forward. And my generation shall do that going forward. We should start doing that to ourselves. This is not rocket science. We just need to believe. But to believe, we need to understand who we are.
And you're saying, I think you said that your objective is to say that we can do the best. My answer to that is we were the best, and we can be again. And yes, we are the best, but we're not definitely not the best. But if you look socially, we look today in 2017 at our culture. We are taking our clothes, our music, the way we speak, our food, everything, our print, everything, everybody from catwalk models to non-black rappers to non-black owning restaurants that are black restaurants that own my number. Every part of our culture is wanted and lusted after. What they don't like is having us attached to it. But we need to step up and reclaim what is ours. Reclaim what is ours. It's not for you to take.
Now, I have one question for you people.
Yeah.
Are you people British citizens?
Yes. I was born here.
Okay. Now the question is this: if you are a British citizen, you have the right as a citizen to demand from your government to act in Libya, because they acted in Libya to remove Gaddafi when nobody asked them to do that. They just did that for their own interest. Now we need them to act. Why are they not acting? It doesn't take anything for them to go there and put order into this. But what we've seen that European Union have done is that European Union are rather giving money to the Libyans. They are giving money to the militants in Libya. They are empowering the Libya to captivate the Africans. But you are citizens. As citizens, why can't you demand from your government to act on the side of Africans?
But that's exactly what we are doing. So our three demands, and these are immediate demands, those long-term.
We can't hear you now. We can't hear you, sherzal.
I said we have three immediate demands of our government, and which are to close the detention camps, to treat refugees as refugees, not migrants, because their responsibility comes to recognizing them as migrants and stop them.
Hey, we need you. I don't know what happened to your voice. The voice was okay. Something went wrong. You need to come closer to the camera, please. The camera, can you get that closer? Yes, come again, please.
And so we have three immediate demands. We have
beautiful now. We hear you well now. Beautiful.
Yeah. And we have longer term, or we'll be having longer term demands, like looking at the reasons why people are fleeing and taking such risks with their own life to go through Libya to get to Europe in the first place. But the three immediate demands, which can be affected quite quickly and should be affected quite quickly, are the closing of the detention/death camps, the stop funding slavery. So that's EU and European countries that are spending billions of pounds, or millions of pounds rather, funding Libya, Nigeria, and other countries to manage migration, so that they're not getting into fortress Europe, as it's known. So to stop funding that, even though they've been told by the United Nations and human rights watchers, as well as other human rights organisations, that Libya and other governments are not capable of managing migration in a humane way, yet we're still funding it. So that's one of our demands. And the last demand, I forgot what the last demand was. Treat as refugees, not migrants, because right now they're being called migrants, and then if they're treated as migrants, they're clearly refugees, and there's a lot of expectations or legal ramifications to recognise them as refugees. So there's lots of fancy workers calling these people migrants, so they don't have a legal responsibility to ensure their safety and things like that. So they're the three immediate demands. I think the other thing to recognise is, just like as I said earlier on, just like African countries, EU countries are just the same. I was on many moons ago when we had the over 1 million people came out to march against the war in Iraq. I was heavily pregnant at the time, and I went and marched. It made no difference. So we can demand these things, but there's stuff that we need to, I'll always go back to the stuff that we need to be looking at doing ourselves, because you can demand whatever you want from the government. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do it, and more often than not, if they don't think it's in their best interest, which they don't now, because they're too focused on protecting their borders and stopping all these black migrants to get into Europe. So we need to look at what we can do effectively to change things, which is going to take longer, but should always be looking at long term anyway, because they're the most effective ways to get rid of any issue.
Yeah, definitely. And plus, these things has been going on for many years. So, I've spoken to one of the living victims who is actually in Italy. He told me that the international community has actually been in the concentration camps 3 times. But they haven't done anything, and every time they come over, they don't do nothing. So this should tell you there's a complicity somewhere here. So hence why they haven't been really, putting their focus, because as you said, it's not in their interest. Yeah. So they don't want them to cross the Mediterranean to go to Italy. They prefer them to stay in Libya. So then, I'm going to come back to this again. Our leaders need to act quickly, because our brothers and sisters are suffering where they are. They're really suffering. Yes, they have deported some of them, but then those people were deported from Tripoli, the capital of Libya. So we have many others in different camps, in the country. So they need to make sure they reach out them to send them home. And I'm going to say this again. This hurts me a lot. Most of our sisters are sold, enslaved in private prisons, used for prostitution. So they need to find a way to reach its private prison where those sisters are, to take them from these evils and send them home. And I also want to say this: if these guys are sent home, let not just leave them on their own, because they psychologically not stable at the moment. Most of them seeing their friends' kids. Most of them seeing the other rape and other organ being taken.
Yes.
So
damage,
mentally psychologically, most of them are damaged. They need to be looked after.
Yeah, they've suffered a huge trauma,
Yes.
and of course that would need to be addressed
horrible
and
family.
dealt with. You can't just go through that and then be left to deal with it on your own.
No, absolutely not. One of the things I would actually say, going on from this, is we should be apparent with us, every African on this planet, that economically, our dependence on those who are exploiting our very resources is actually damaging us. It is as clear as night and day, and we must wake up and take that responsibility on. It falls on our shoulders. If our government is not doing it, us as the people, we must find means and ways of empowering ourselves with knowledge, empowering ourselves to buy from ourselves, and then uniting to provide the things that we need within our society. For example, infrastructure right across Africa, they're not there. And the reason why those infrastructures are not there is because the systems are designed so that those infrastructures are never built. Anytime the funds are provided for all of those things to be built, the funds end up back in where the money came from in Europe. So we need to understand the system is not working for us. If it's not working for Africa, then it's step up to Africans. We don't wait for anybody to tell us what to do. We get in there and we change it. But to do that, we have to do that united. And by that I mean, we can't say we're going to stop corruption in Nigeria alone. To say we're going to stop corruption right across Africa. How do we do that? Unity. And how do you get that unity? Knowledge. Once we get the knowledge, the passion to fix the change, to make the change becomes a reality. Without that knowledge, we'll be floundering. And we need to understand that as Africans. This is not this game to have in 2017. Africans been enslaved. There are, as we speak, there are slave camps. They're actually building slave camps all over Libya. And there's a particular race of black Africans, Tawiga people. They've been wiped out in Libya. And the ones that are left are now in Sudan and all these other places. We need to understand, we have to make this clear to anybody on this planet. You hurt one African, we come back at you hard. And that's what we need to do. But we don't do that physically with guns and things. We do soft power. The soft power, we gain economical strength. Without economical strength, we can't do anything. And to gain economical strength, we need knowledge of who we are. So I want every African to understand this. We need to change how we do things. We need to make a change. And to make a change, you need to wake up. We need to wake up here. We are asleep. Too many of us, over 1 billion of us are asleep. And we need to wake up. To wake up, get the knowledge. Get the knowledge of who you are. Know who you are.
What are the
education? Knowledge is key. Knowledge, definitely. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, Pastor. There is 14 countries. Yes. 14 countries in Africa, French colonial Africa, who deposit over $500 billion, almost $500 million, billion to French each year.
To France.
To France.
The place, the colonial tax.
They call it
Google
colonial.
Go and Google it. It's actually there. $500 billion every year we pay as a colonial tax. And they say they do that because they say they're paying for building all those infrastructure. What infrastructure?
The benefits of being colonized, that's what they're paying for. The benefits of being colonized.
This is what we're paying them back for.
14 countries.
14 countries. This is what hurt me more.
Yes.
This is why.
And it's still happening now.
And aside from that, there's also capital flight.
Yes.
Billions of dollars a year that's being taken out of Africa for tax avoidance and multinational corporations.
Yes.
In excess of what's received in aid in Africa, there's more that's coming out of Africa through capital flight than there is being received in aid. We don't need aid. Africa doesn't need aid. There's enough money there. If corporations were forced to pay the taxes they were supposed to pay, you'd have it all in there.
Exactly.
If such things as colonial tax were wiped out.
Yeah.
Aid is not required.
No, it doesn't. No. The money that we give France each year, the billions that we give them, imagine if we have that on our position, that will be good enough. Roads, roads, hospitals, water, light, you name it. So to me, this is why I'm very upset, about our leaders. Why can they not unite to tell France enough is enough? We can no longer do this, right? We need this money to be us, and it's ours, right? And it's one country. France is basically living on our own resources.
It literally was. It said there was a report that came out that if the colonial tax ended, France would become a third world country.
It will be. No doubt.
The path of Africa would completely change.
One last question to all of you. One question. What is one thing that all the people who are listening to you should go and do right now? From all of you, what is one thing all these people should go do right now?
They should research. They should educate.
No, we can't hear you. Can you get it?
They should research. They should educate themselves. As I said earlier, the textbooks we were forced to read many years ago, they are wrong. Now we are blessed with technology. They can go and Google it, read books, do some research. They will find the truth about our roots, about Africa, and the way they brainwashed us through those years. So they will find the real of us and the atrocities that we've been through for many years. So education, knowledge, to me, is the key. So, and also before, I just want to add quickly one thing. As an African, to me, if the youth, the African new generation, we unite, honestly, we can change the course of our situation. No one can stop us if we unite as one. We can change things. Yes. No doubt. I believe in power in people.
Okay, sherzal, what do you need to say, sherzal?
I would go with what I am said. Just said educate yourself, and in order to educate yourself, as we've all been saying throughout this entire interview or discussion, it's all about unity. So I'd say join our family. You're part of our family anyway. Come to freemytribe.com.
Do you have what site? What website?
freemytribe.com, freemytribe.com, and join our family. And we also have our protest outside Parliament on the 18th, Monday the 18th at 4 o'clock, whilst they're debating the issue in Libya, and the 3 demands that we gave you about recognising our family as refugees, not migrants, stop funding slavery, and closing the detention camps. They're the 3 ones that will be planted out by them. So come and join us on that, but join our family.
Thank you.
I'd go along with what you just said. We need knowledge of ourselves. I've said that time and time again. Knowledge of who we are, research. There's Google, you got internet, there's social media, there's books. We've got no excuse to not find out who we are, because if we don't, we will be walking, like you might as well walk around in the dark. That's how it is. But one thing I would like to say, one more thing, a big shout out to Constance Embassy. She's the one who actually put the petition together that we are doing, that we are actually supporting tomorrow. Please, that lady, if you know her, hit up her Facebook page, YouTube, Twitter, anything that you got, and say thank you. Say thank you to her, because there's over 250,000 people who signed that petition, and she put that up. So we must remember her. I don't know the full name, but I know it's Constance. I think it's Embassy, and I will put it up, on the Free My Tribe page and other pages of support that are supporting this. And I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to actually communicate with Africans right around the world. And we thank you and hope we have to come back again.
Thank you so much. Well, I want to remind everybody of the challenge. What we need you to do, the most important thing is not the money, but the money is go to GoFundMe.com/Libya One Challenge. $1, just $1. We want to gather $1 million That time we want to alert at least 1 million people who are actively involved. So if we get that $1 million, I will double it with another $1 million. They will come up with a committee of volunteers who want to just work. Anybody, the public will suggest the people to manage the $1 million or $2 million and to know what to do with it, to empower our African people. This kind of, I'm so free my tribe is a wonderful team that we could bring on board to help us manage what to do with this kind of money. But we want everybody to get on board, just especially with the awareness. What is more important is go challenge 5 people, at least 5 people, challenge 5 people to go to GoFundMe Libya One Challenge, or GoFundMe.com/Libya One Challenge, and give $1, just $1 or more. They could give more, but $1 to the cause of freeing our people from Libya and empowering them. So just challenge people, call them by name, call people out, put the banner, the publicity out on your social media. What is more important is not even the money, but the publicity. Challenge 5 people and tell them to support the Libya project, the $1 Libya project. GoFundMe.com/Libya One Challenge. And of course, for those people who are interested in enlightening themselves, I agree with what our brethren have said, that awareness is important. Awareness. And this will bring awareness how to be in the here and now. Our people need conscious living. That book will really help. No one is better than us as Africans. I believe this. And I believe that the next generation of Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg should come from Africa. That's why I wrote this book, Raising the Next Generation of Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. No one is better than you. Who am I? Where am I? Why am I here? That is for us Africans. Problems is not a big deal. We shouldn't be running away from problem from Africa. Problem is our shortcut to prominence. And where there is problem, there is money. So we should teach our people that no, where there is problem, there is money. Don't worry about it. Let's change it. And we have the energy. I wrote one that's called the veritable source of energy. We have the energy to be able to change Africa and to change our destiny. And another one I have here is the creative and innovative power of a genius. Our people could be creative. We could be creative and innovate everything that will make Africa to be a developed continent. Thank you so much, everybody. And to get my book, somebody is asking, how do you get them? You go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com/books, sundayadelajablog.com/books, or you go to Amazon. They are there on Amazon, or you could just write to my office. It's DSS Books, one word, DSS Books @gmail.com. And you could actually be distributors. You could actually be distributors of these books, and you will be able to make 60 to 70% from every book. So why not? Just write to us, DSSBooks at gmail.com. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for what you are doing. We feel honored to get to know you. We are going to invite you in the future and going to do more things together in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.